Hey folks, welcome back to Wild West Barbecue. I'm doing this portion indoors today because it's been raining all day and everything outside is soaking wet. But for this video, it's going to be a brisket video. July 4th is coming up on Saturday. It's Wednesday now. I'm going to go ahead and cook a brisket for the 4th. I'm also going to cook some pork butt at the same time as the brisket. But this video is about the brisket and not the pork butt. I'm going to use the 22.5-inch Smokey Mountain. And I'm going to cook both the brisket and the pork butt at the same time. I'll have the pork butt on the bottom grate and the brisket on the top grate. And the plan is to get this meat rubbed up and seasoned tonight on Wednesday, and then start to cook tomorrow on Thursday about 9 o'clock at night, and let it go overnight into Friday. And will get done when it gets done. And the reasoning behind that is that not only will it make Saturday much easier for me because I won't have to worry about, is the brisket going to get done on time and all that. It also frees up the smoker for Saturday if we decide last minute to do something like ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my brisket out. I'm going to show you guys how I trim it up, and I'm going to show you what goes into my rub. I'm making my own rub this time for it, so I'll show you guys what goes in that. I'm not going to trim it too aggressively. I've been wanting to try a more aggressive trim on it, but with it being an overnight cook where I can't be outside babysitting it all the time, I want some of the fat still on there because fat will protect the meat. But I'll show you guys how I'm going to trim it. So let me get the brisket out, and I'll bring you guys right back. So I've got my brisket here. It's a 12.75 pound brisket from Costco. It ended up costing $3.50 a pound. So it's not the best price in the world, but it has come down from what they have been recently with all the closures due to the COVID stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get it opened. We're going to get it trimmed up a little bit. Well, I'm going to wipe this down a little bit, get it dried off some before we start trimming. A lot of this fat back here is what I'm going to end up leaving on. I won't get as aggressive here on the back of the brisket as I'd like to be because, like I said, fat protects the meat. So I won't be quite as aggressive as I'd like, but I'm going to be fairly aggressive on this side here. So you just want to get some of this. There's a bunch of silver skin in here. Just kind of want to get in here and get some of that stuff off. It's just not going to work. This knife is definitely not the best knife for it. I don't really have a good slicing knife, so I'm using what I have available. That's all right. It'll work. A lot of this I do want to remove. This is just hard fat. It's not going to render out. It's not going to be good eating. I'm going to remove most of this here. This eye. It's not good eating. If you want to see some good brisket trimming videos, I'm going to refer you to Harry Sue's site. That guy has a lot of videos up on how to trim a brisket really, really well for a competition and for backyard cooks like myself. He has videos on both. So if you're really interested in a good brisket trim video, give his channel a look. think that's good enough for me on this side. I'm usually not a real big trimmer anyways, so for me on this side, that is more than good enough, I think. Like I said, go visit Harry Sue for a much better brisket trim video. Let's go ahead and flip this over and work on the back side now. Like I said, most of this I'm going to leave. I'm going to cut some of it off. Most of this I want to go ahead and leave to help protect the meat while it's in the smoker. I think this is about good for me. A lot of your cooks out there are going to trim a lot more aggressively than I do, and that's fine. It's just not for me. Now, we got the brisket. The grains are running this way in this brisket, and when you go and slice the brisket, you want to slice against the grain. Let me get rid of this first. So, what I'm going to do, I want to slice it perpendicular to the grain like this. So here on this end, I'm just gonna go ahead and slice that off. And when I start slicing, and start here and just step on up perpendicular to my grain. So, now that I got it trimmed, the next step is to get my rub made and get this going. I am gonna go ahead and put some salt on this right now. I use salt because when I make my own rubs, I like to salt my meat beforehand because that way I can not have salt in my rub. I omit the salt from the rub, and that does two things. First of all, when I salt this up with this, it's gonna pull some moisture to the surface of the meat, and that's gonna help the rub stick, which means I'm not gonna use any kind of binder like mustard, Worcestershire sauce. I'm not gonna use any of that because the salt helps with that. Secondly, it means with no salt in the rub that I can put as much rub on here as I like and not affect the salt content. So let's just go ahead and get some salt on here to taste and call it done. I'm not going to bother to salt the other side of this. It's just all fat anyways, so I'm not too worried. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get all the ingredients to the rub out, bring you guys on back to show you what goes in my rub, and then we'll get this thing rubbed up and ready to go. All right, so I've got all my ingredients pulled out. The first ingredient we're going to use is a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. The next ingredient is a 1/2 cup of onion powder. So I got some onion powder. About 1/2 cup, that'll work. 1/4 cup of garlic powder comes next. It's not even open. What do you know? Cup of onion powder. Garlic powder, excuse me. Powder, 1/4 cup of paprika. Enough. I've got 1/8 cup of white pepper, which works out to 2 tablespoons. And the last ingredient is 1 tablespoon of ground green peppercorns. Get them like this. They come whole. I've already got them crushed up. I'm just going to dip them in. We'll go ahead and give this a quick mix. Get it all mixed together, and then we can get it on the brisket. have some clumps in here from the brown sugar, that's all right. That's no big deal. Just keep whisking, you'll be all right. I'm going to go ahead and put this into a shaker because it's a lot easier to put on the meat that way. So get it on there. And I'll bring the brisket back over so we can get it seasoned up. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and season the back side first because I want the fat cap down. That way I'm not going to put seasoning on the top and then flip it and then I have to flip back over again. I'm not going to season too much on this side. It's just fat. I'm not too worried about it. All right. Oops, good enough for this side. Let's go ahead and get this side seasoned up. I will go a lot heavier on the rub on this side. I kind of want the meat on this side to be opaque. I'm gonna want the rub to be opaque so I can't see the meat. That's what I'm going for on this side. So far, so good on that. Excellent. I think that just about covers it for rubbing this brisket, getting it prepped. I'm going to throw this in the fridge. And we're going to let this sit until tomorrow evening, 9-ish. We're going to go ahead and throw it in the smoker. So I'll catch you guys back up tomorrow. We're ready to go. So, just one more thing I forgot to mention earlier. I've obviously got some rub left over. I'm just going to go ahead and store it here in this shaker I just used and set it for later. No big deal. Either I can put it on while I'm cooking the brisket or use it for something else. I found the brisket rub is good on pretty much any kind of beef. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this into here and set it for later. Okay, the brisket's cooked. It's been about 16 hours total on the smoker. It was a little over 16 hours. And it's been resting for about 2 hours in a cooler, wrapped up in butcher paper. So we're going to go ahead and get it sliced and see how it came out. I have a feeling the point up here is probably cooked about right. I'm worried the flat down here is a little overcooked. We're going to find out. So, let's go ahead and see how we did with this thing, see if it came out right. Yeah, it's definitely a little overdone. Do the accordion test. That came out pretty decent, not too bad. Slices are a little thick for my taste. I'm having trouble getting them as thin as I like. Let's see if I can get a thinner slice going here. There we go, that's more like it. That's a much better slice. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's starting to crumble. It's definitely a little overdone down here in the point, but that's all right. Let's give it a taste. Still tastes good though. Even being a little overdone down here, it still really came out. I'm pleased with that. It did come out. I'm happy with the end product, even though it's ever so slightly overdone. It's not horrible, so I've had a lot worse. So overall, I'm very happy with the end product. I'm just going to get the rest of this sliced up, and we're going to call it a day and get it ready for the 4th tomorrow. So, some final thoughts from my brisket cook today. Overall, I think it went really well. The brisket went 16 hours and 10 minutes in the smoker. At the end, it was probably just slightly overdone. It probably could have gone 14 and a half to 15 hours and been just fine. I was relying on the internal temperature reading from the meter probe that kept saying it wasn't done. I finally went out and probed it and realized, okay, it is done. It's nice and tender. We can go and pull it. Overall, it wasn't too overdone. It was a little crumbly, but it was still juicy and it still tasted good, and that's what matters. So overall, I'm happy with the cook. I did learn some lessons from this cook.
I will use a different knife for trimming. The knife I used for trimming the brisket was not a good knife for trimming. I won't use that one again. I'll find something different to trim with. Um, Overall, I'm still trying to learn brisket. It's something I'm doing decent brisket, but it's not great brisket. So it's still something I'm working on. But that's the fun part. I still get to make a bunch of brisket and eat it. So that's all that matters. Overall, I was real pleased with the cook. If you liked the video, please click the like button and please share it. That helps new viewers find the content. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. That would help me out with my numbers. So, until next time, guys, I hope to have another video up soon. I'm getting more used to the meter block, so I'm probably going to have a review of that up soon. So, until next time.